Hi, I'm here to talk to you today about leadership communication styles and how to communicate effectively as a leader. I wanted to make this video because I've been reading a lot about public speaking tips and how to communicate effectively. And I've been talking with some of my coaching clients who are becoming managers about how they can become more effective communicators with their teams. I've been hearing from them some of the areas that they think they have to develop their skills. And I've been reading about the areas that coaches who create content for the internet try to teach people to change the way they communicate. And I've been reading about the 3 leadership styles, 8 communication tactics. And the thing that I think it all has in common, a lot of it anyway, is that it's all a bunch of baloney. I mean, it's really startling when you read the descriptions of what people are looking for from an effective leader, and you see things like, take up a lot of space in the room, be really direct, make really intense eye contact. And does this remind you of anyone we know? I mean, it's so clearly coded for this stereotype of leadership that is obsolete in the world that we live in today. It's definitely not relevant to the world that I want to live in or that I want you to lead me into as my client. It is a masculine stereotype. It is a aggressive, ableist, and probably a little bit racist stereotype. There are 88% of the CEOs out there are men. And funnily enough, the same percentage, 88%, are white. And if that doesn't convince you that we have a problem with our leadership stereotypes, 68% of these CEOs are over 6 feet tall. Only 4% of people are that tall, and only 1% of women are over 6 feet tall. So for me, the problem is that my clients come to me wanting to learn how to live up to this standard of leadership, how to live up to this model. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to teach people to conform to that standard. Not anymore. It's not necessary anymore. Not after Obama, not after Kamala, after Hillary, after people like Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, my queen, I love you. Not after Condoleezza Rice, after Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If you're a person who is a woman or a person of color, this is proof you don't have to model yourself on somebody like me or on another white guy to be an effective leader. If you're neurodivergent, there's proof that you don't have to be neurotypical to be a successful leader, and you don't have to act like a neurotypical leader to be a successful neurodivergent leader. I think we have a lot of neurodivergent leaders that you can model yourself on. If you're disabled, if you use a wheelchair, one thing that we know is that you've had to work a lot harder to get where you are, much harder than I would have had to work. Any of the people that I've just described have this in common with you. And that makes you qualified to step into the role of a leader how you are without having to think about modeling yourself on these outworn, obsolete stereotypes. So you don't have to be like that. You don't have to act like that. You don't have to sound like that to be effective. I have known very, very small people who are amazing leaders. I have known very, very big people who are amazing leaders, just as successful as me and more successful than me. If you think your size is a factor in leadership, in becoming a leader, that you can overcome that belief if you study up on your role models. What I want you to believe is that you're good enough as you are to be a leader. There are some things you can do that you can memorize. There are some tricks, some habits that I've developed, like talking with my hands and using pauses and all those other parlor tricks that you can get from YouTube, from white guys and from other, I'm sure, very capable and folks who represent the communities that you come from, and you should learn from them. But who you are is good enough, no matter what that is. Don't believe in any training that tells you that you need to be someone that you're not, or that you need to act like someone that you're not. If your voice is too high, if you think it's too low, if you have a speech impediment, if you have a regional affect to your speech pattern, if your use of the language in the place that you live and work is different than your native language and you feel concerned about that. I have met people with all of those characteristics that are very, very successful in their work. You do not overcome that. You do it with that. You go into the room as you are, who you are. You overcome the difficulties that you had to in order to get into that room, and you do what you have to do in order to be yourself. You belong in those spaces no matter who you are. And that's what I wanted to say to all of you today about leadership and leadership communication styles.